Hello and welcome to another I Explores. Okay, so today we're doing some more streets of Grimsby. This will be number 5 and I'm starting off from Railway Street near the Grimsby Dock Station, which is just through there. Now, as I walk this way a little bit, I'm going to tell you about all sorts of things that's down here as I point the camera around. So let's go. Okay, so like I just said, I'm on Railway Street. I'm going to walk up a little bit up here and I'll be turning the camera around in a minute as soon as I get past these cars come past me, because I don't like cars on my videos. Okay, so just in this area, there used to be an hotel here called the Railway Hotel. Now, this building here, I think, was part of it from some of the pictures I've actually seen. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so now we're about to leave Railway Street. We're going to head up to the West Marsh, which is that sign up there, and onto the Tramway over the railway bridge here. And I'll tell you more about this when I get up there to the top. Okay, so I've now come up onto the railway bridge. If I pan the camera around, you see, obviously it's a scrapyard. Now, all around this area, even all the way down to the railway street down there, this was all train tracks, goods yards, coal sheds, timber, you name it. Obviously, the train track down there taking fish to wherever it was going to. But yeah, this area is full of industry. And I will do a video on this soon, but I'm just doing streets at the moment. And that building in front of me there, that was part of the Maltins. And the big building at the back there, obviously, was the flour mill. So I'll do a video on them sooner or later, more intense. But let's carry on to Central Market. I think it ended somewhere in this area where I am right now, because all around here was railway tracks, believe it or not. All here was, all this was industry everywhere. Now I'm coming up to Central Market. Now, I'm not going to go in the middle of the road, that'd be silly. Where them cars are there, near enough directly in front of me, there was a tower, a clock tower. This is Central Market, and where the building is there, that shop across the road with the green sign, there's be pubs and that there, quite a few pubs. And obviously entertainment, the Globe, across the road was the Palace as well. That was all there, and a bit of the Palace still stands. It's right in front of us there, you can see it, that tower on the top there. And we're going to head now to Corporation Bridge, which I'll tell you more about. So let's move on. Okay, so now coming up to Corporation Bridge, I'll just turn the camera around there. There we go. Let's walk across it. You see it there. I'll explain some more about this in a moment. The old Ross Tiger, looks like the tide's in as well. Yeah, so let's walk across this and I'll tell you more about it. Let's show you around first. Yeah, the tide's definitely in. Okay, so we'll now come across the bridge, which I'll turn round. Now, it stated in the Grimsby News, stated in 1865 that there was no Corporation Bridge, and all round here, I don't know if it's a flower, it's called cowslips grew. So you can imagine just this bit of field all around this area and no bridge. Obviously later there was a swing bridge there, so I'll explain that in a moment. Cowslips, very strange. Okay, so I'm now standing at the side of the Corporation Bridge, which used to be a swing bridge and dated till 1872. A later bridge was built, which is the one you can see now, and it was opened by the Prince of Wales, the future King Edward VIII, on the 19th of July 1928. So there you go, it's been there a long, long time. Right, so I'm going to tell you a bit more about, because we're on Corporation Road now, so I'm going to tell you a lot more. I'm going to tell you about the trams. There's a lot of history down this one street alone, which is quite amazing. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you about the trams, which I'll turn the camera around. Now, across the road there, where that green fence is, that's where the terminus was, the Grimsby to Immingham Electric Railway, which ran from 1910 to 1961 and closed on the 1st of July 1961. And it ran all the way down this way where the camera's pointing up Corporation Road and went all the way to Immingham from there. I'll show you some of the places where I know some of the stops are, and there's one place I've actually seen recently which I've got a picture of, but obviously I can't put it on. It's up there, the school up there, but I will show you where that is. So let's go and have a look. Okay, so we'll move a bit further down Corporation Road. Now this building here was the power for the trams. Obviously it looked a bit different then, but yeah, in there that supplied the electricity to the tram out there, obviously, which ran away to Immingham. There's probably several of these along the track anyway, but yeah, this is still here. And I actually saw a photo with some of the cabling that was when they was dismantling it. Two blokes stood in the middle of the road. Obviously not then like this, obviously not, but yeah, that supplied the electric to the trams. If I turn the camera around further up, then we're coming to what's called the first halt, which basically means that where the tracks crossed, so the tram went from one side of the road to the other. Now there's another one of those further up, like I said, near this school, so we'll have a look at that a bit later. Okay, so we're now going to have a look at another street which is no longer there, called Watkins Street. Now I've seen a marvellous picture of that in this book, and it's got an advert for the Paragon Theatre, later called the Rex, which is in that direction there, and it's on the right hand side of the road. Also, we're coming up to the West Marsh pub there on the corner, that big old building there, and I'll tell you a bit about that when we get up to it. But we're actually going to head in that direction to that to the street what I just mentioned there, Watkins Street. So that's where we're going. Okay, so this is the West Marsh Club just there. As you can see, it's still here. Now I think they're converting it into flats soon or something like that, but you can see they put a nice gate on it. It looks really nice, so that must be what they're doing. I'm not sure if it's going to be council flats or private, I'm not sure, but I know that's what they're doing to it, but it's still standing the test of time. I have done this on another video in the past, so you can watch that one. I think it's on the pubs one, I think. I can't remember which one, but I know I have covered this building before, but it's still there after all this time. So let's carry on to the next building, which is no longer there, but I can tell you a bit about it. Okay, so we're now coming up to the Paragon Rex, which is no longer there. We see that big block of, flats. That's where it stood. Now, I remember going to the Rex skateboarding in the 70s. As obviously previous to that, it's called the Paragon Theatre or Picture House. Obviously silent pictures, then obviously went on to talking pictures, colour, and obviously nowadays it's all digital. But yeah, well that was two different names to it. First the Paragon and then the Rex. On Ainscroft Street, Corporation Road. It's on the corner basically, which is down there. So let's move on. Okay, so we're now on Watkins Street. This is south. There's also another one, Watkins Street North, which I believe is in that direction there. Okay, so this particular street was built in 1882. Now, going up this way towards the Pie Wipe, there was an inn there, which is there in 1897. Obviously, we've got Dixon's Paper Mill up there to go and look at. On Gilby Road, that was 1870 to 1973. I actually remember that, because the guys that used to work there used to go in my granddad and nana's fish and chip shop. So I'm going to carry on this way and see if I can't find the other side of this street. Hopefully, obviously it's not there now, but you can just imagine this was full of houses. Absolutely full of it. Okay, so I'm now on Watkins Street North, as you can see. Well, there's nothing here to look at really, but yeah, this is basically it. And it ran in that direction there. Like I say, there was loads of houses down here before the industry came, and obviously the railways is here previous to the houses being here, but yeah. Okay, still on Armstrong Street. Now I'm walking up to the Armstrong Street School, which I'll turn the camera around, which was in there. Now the only dates I've got, it says 1929 to 1964. Now I don't know if they're correct. That's all ones I can find out. I mean, if it opened then, or, well, obviously it opened then, and might have shut in 1964, I don't know. It's now a community centre. I've been in there for work on doing training, but as you can see, they've got a garden down there, some of the original playgrounds still there. But I remember it, I actually went in there to a cycling club back in the late 70s it was, when I first got a racing bike. But yeah, okay, so we're now approaching Gilby Road, which is in front of me there. You can see all them cars. Now, over on the distance there, this area, this was Dixon's Paper Mill. Now, obviously, again, I have got a picture of this, but from a book I've got, but obviously I can't put it on. But I'll show you when I go around the other side. Approximately, they had like a bridge from one side of it to the other, because obviously this road was there, but this road only ran as far as where the roundabout is, and then it stopped, and it was obviously wasteland, and obviously railway was still there, obviously, because of taking the paper from place to another and all that kind of thing. So obviously it took by train. There was a train track round this area, which I have covered on a video, which is probably the one they used that ran up Boulevard Avenue and out to the main line. So let's go round this corner. So around this corner, where that kitchens and bathroom place is over the road, is roughly where this bridge was, what I'm talking about. And it ran, and I'll come round here, ran from across there right to the other side, and it actually said Peter Dixon on it, Peter Dixon's paper mill. So now we're going to go and have a look and carry on with the trams. Okay, so we're now coming up to a very famous place. If you grew up and used to come here when you was a kid, on that corner through all that metal work there was the old Dolly Lollies. And as I was saying, down here, the Pie Wipe in 1897 was an inn. Now that's why it's called the Pie Wipe, because of that inn that was down there. Obviously I mentioned the paper mill just, and that was from 1870 to 1973, obviously gone, which I just pointed out. But yeah, Dolly Lollies, you've got to mention that. I know I've done it before, but let's move on. Okay, so I'm now walking towards where my granddad's fish and chip shop was. I'll turn it round on Gilby Road. It's through there. Now, this part here, you see where I did all the fish down there, but obviously they've knocked it out and there's potatoes, and that's all the preparation used to be. Now I know this is original because I used to sit out here penny for the guy. But yeah, obviously it's changed a bit. But I remember some of the windows have, and obviously the PVC now, but yeah. I remember sitting out here when I was a kid, but this is used to be called Wood, or Woodsies as it was known as locally. So this is Pie White Road, Gilby Road corner. There you go. Just there. And just here, there used to be two, I think I mentioned it before on a video, used to be two, second-hand shops, which are now obviously turned into houses, flats, or whatever you want to call it, but that's what used to be there, known as Betty's. Okay, so the Grimsby to Immingham tramway was built by the GCR, which is Great General Railway. Then later, it changed to the LNER, which is London and North Eastern Railways. So it obviously changed, and I mentioned the dates before when it ran further back there, but we're walking up this way. I think it's Stortford Street, and it says there's a halt there, but all that is it's just changing from one track to the other, basically, which I have seen a picture of, and I didn't know that. And further back down that way was a tram pinch. See where the trees are? I don't know what a tram pinch is, but that's, we used to sign there. I've seen it on a photo, but that's where that was. But it basically ran up here. So it went for 7.5 miles, which is quite a distance. Obviously over there's quite a lot of industry now, and it probably wasn't built up like it used to be. I think the fish meal factory was there, which used to smell, but now doesn't, because it's got filters on it in this day and age. What's wrong with it? Yeah, it really was bad. So let's carry on. That's where this crossing is, there. The tram on that side used to go over to that side. I've actually seen the picture of it, and there was a tram in it, actually there, where this crossing is, just on that side of the road there. That's where it was parked. Amazing picture, but I wish I could put it on. It really is. I've never seen a picture like that before. You can imagine a big massive tram in the middle of this road, but it was just there. So like I said, it carried on over the bridge there, and let's go a bit further then. Okay, so I'm now walking up Cleveland Bridge. This is where the tram came. You see, it's fairly steep. Well, yeah, it goes right round here, straight in front there, and obviously carries on, winds its way to Immingham. And the terminus is at the top on the top of this bridge up there, and it was on the right-hand side. Like I was saying, down there it switches tracks, but that's where it ran, right up there. I can actually go in this. Now we used to call this used to be obviously a road you could get round here on to go and put your rubbish at the tip over that way. We used to call this over the tip because there was a lot of rubbish either side, and that's where it was. Obviously it's moved now, they've cleaned it all up, but that's what this was called. It's got it going over the tip. So if any of you know that, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, as you live round here back then. If I look back behind me, you can see it's quite steep, but obviously the trams made it up here. Must have needed a lot of power, but there was big old things. I believe there's one of the Grimsby trams at Beamish, that museum. I believe there's one there, from what I've read. But this is, there it is. I'm coming up to the top of it now. Let's go a little bit further. Okay, so I've come to the top of Cleveland Bridge, and I can see down there bits of railway track and that. There used to be a lot of tracks down there and sidings, but obviously they've taken them up and just left the two down there. As you can see, there's some of the plates there, and obviously a bit of the track in the distance there, a bit track down there. It used to be full of tracks. I don't know what they're doing down there, but each time I come this way filming, it's totally different. So let's go and let's have a quick look over the other side of the bridge. Okay, so we're on the bridge again. It's still on Gilby Road, by the way. You can see some of the sleepers down there, still in situ where there was. And obviously there's the old signal down there, you can just see that. I'm going to point the camera down there, so I don't really know what it's looking at the moment, because I can't see over the top of this. But I'm going to leave it there, and we're going to go this way. As you can see, there's that signal, the old signal there. Now let's go and have a look over the other side. As I was saying, the tram goes round that corner there and heads off, so down here. Now, like I said, I've done some work on this. As you can see, there's a lot of track down there. Lots of it. Now, I know this actually runs right round there, and I have filmed it before. On, I think, a previous video I did on the cycling one. I think I did some then. It goes right round. It used to go right round to the docks as well at one time, but some of it's still down there. Quite a lot still in place or in situ. As you can see, about 3 or 4 tracks down there, it looks like. Yeah, still interesting, so let's move on. Okay, so I'm now on Nelson Road, and I'm going to turn the camera around, and that white building there used to be a little coach social club. I used to go in there on a Sunday and play big or have a couple of beers, obviously when I was 18, but yeah, I used to go on some brilliant outings from there and all, on a coach firm called Peter Sheffield, which probably some of you know. Right, so I'm back on White Road, and I'm going to show you something else. Now, just here, this area, there used to be a laundry. Now, I remember it, because obviously, like I said, my granddad's fish and chip shop up there, so obviously I was around here quite a bit. But just where this house here was, there was a laundry there. Now, I don't know what it did, but we used to see great big white linen sheets. Maybe it was the hospital, because the hospital used to be in that direction over there, the old Grimsby Hospital, or General Hospital. But yeah, that's what that did. So, okay, let's go. Right, so we'll come to the end of another video, and I'd like to thank all my recent subscribers and all the people that are viewing my content. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time on the next video. Bye for now.